Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. I am Max Loeb, he is Chef Zay, and we are 1 week away from Cleveland Browns training camp. It's felt like a long 3 months. Zay, how are you doing 1 week from the big report day?
I'm trying to get there. I'm like dragging at the finish line. It's like I go back to my birthday when I was 26 and I rode my bike. I believe it was like 20 miles. And I got to that stretch right there where Bratnall. And my legs just start Charlie horsing at every way possible. I couldn't do anything. And I'm at that point now with the Browns where I'm like, we just got to weather one more week of BS. No more allegations, no more stories coming out, no more nothing. Let's just get to training camp and we'll be good. But I'm feeling all right. How about yourself?
I'm good. As weird as this week has been, because it's kind of like the final calm before the storm. We do have a very cool episode. We have an awesome interview with Cleveland Menace. We have an elongated Q&A in our Around the Land segment. And we also, at the very end, have a prediction for our first team offense, first snap of training camp in about a week. But there still has been some Browns news this week. Obviously, we had Shedeur Sanders helping out locally by the time you're watching this last night or Wednesday, as well as a bunch more news, stipulations with the Quinshon Judkins situation. I know you, Zay, have a couple thoughts about the overall process in relation to the Browns as a team with all this. Do you want to talk about that now?
Yeah, it's weird because I was thinking about it earlier today, and I'm thinking about, like, how is it another year where we're talking about something off the field that it's just like it feels like the fans are taking the brunt of it because we have to, we're now the butt of all jokes. Oh, it's typical signing. Oh, this guy did something in Baltimore, sign him because of our things that come with it. And I'm thinking of it and I'm like, well, it's almost no different than what other teams do. Like, actually now, like, there's always a guy or two on like Detroit or Kansas City or Philly that has off the field issues. The only difference is they're winning games. What would this situation look like if the Browns had just came off of an AFC divisional round playoff win and sure, like Rashee Rice incident or something happened off the field, but they're winning games? Like, would it be magnified as much as it is now if we were winning games? I think it looks so bad because it's like, well, this is year 3. You start with Deshaun Watson. Last year was Mike Hall. You had Devin Bush. Now this guy, it's like, and they're not winning games. So it's getting magnified even more. But if these guys were contributing on a team that was winning games, how big of a magnifying glass would be on it?
That's a great point. I honestly don't know if it would be as big, whether right or wrong. I think that's the reality of the sports world we live in, where the old cliche of winning solves everything, even though in these cases it obviously does not, kind of pushes it to the side a little bit. It really does. I mean, there's been question marks across a lot of teams with off-field stuff, especially, I think back at least recently, the Eagles win the Super Bowl, there's off-field stuff with Jalen Carter, but nobody really talks about that anymore, right?
Yep.
Like, there's a lot of stuff that does kind of get pushed to the wayside because of all this. Nick brought up a very interesting point a few days ago, talking about the Ohio State, role in all of this, because it is a little bit weird that in back-to-back years, your second-round pick out of Ohio State has had something like this arise, right? Are you being misled? Is the proper homework being done? We are not anybody to say that it's not being done, but are you being misled? Are things happening behind the scenes that we may not be able to see? I don't know. There's a lot of questionable decisions that have very clearly been made from those two guys. Obviously, you had the Perion Winfrey incident. You don't even need me to talk about the Deshaun Watson stuff. Even bringing in Deontay Johnson this offseason, who we were both very excited to see. We know the talent's there. There's very clearly off-the-field stuff that's even made itself apparent in the offseason this year. And then you let your fan favorite, probably most stand-up guy in the 21st century on the Cleveland Browns behind Joe Thomas, Nick Chubb, just walk. And there's a lot of questionable decisions, and there's a lot of questions that the fans have. And if you do have those questions, you're not wrong in having them.
The biggest question I got when you talk about letting a guy walk like Nick Chubb is, like, I asked you this behind the scenes. If this was a month prior and this story had came out and Nick Chubb was still on the market, he's a Cleveland Brown, right? I'm not crazy in saying that he'd probably be suiting up at 24 again and then worrying about how you're going to maneuver the roster later moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there are other ways they can maneuver the roster. Now we'll talk about that up next in our Q&A segment on Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. Welcome back into Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. I am Max Loeb. He is Chef Zay, and we have a very special interview today with social media phenom, the Cleveland Menace. Menace, welcome in. We appreciate you hopping on.
Brother. Welcome in.
We appreciate you coming to talk Cleveland sports with us. Obviously, we were talking about it earlier. There's not too much going on in the offseason, but you have been following the Guardians very closely, obviously the Cavs the past couple months. How has the past few months been for you in terms of Cleveland sports content?
Me and the Guardians have kind of been a massive letdown, so that kind of stinks. And the Browns really just get in trouble off the field, so that also kind of stinks. But, it's fun. It's summer. It's warm. Cleveland's like Miami for like 3 months of the year, so, it's good to go to some baseball games and have fun. And they win some. The Browns only win like twice a year, so at least the Guardians win some.
Are you a ballpark pass guy?
I actually have a media pass. But,
nice.
Yeah, I get the ballpark pass, too. I get it every month. It's the best deal. I mean, $54 a month, so when buddies want to come, give it to them. And
can't beat it, right?
It's awesome. Great
Can't
deal.
beat it.
Are you still checked in to Cleveland basketball? Because we got Browns football around the corner, but I see you all decked out in the Cavs gear. So
I mean, it's not just what I wanted to wear today. Not really. I mean, I like Tyrese Proctor a lot. I was excited about that. So I've been following the summer league a little, but it's a summer league, so it's like.
Is he the steal of the draft, like they're trying to make him out to be?
He's definitely a steal of the draft. I mean, you look at the guys taken above him. I mean, obviously the top guys are better than him, but he was a. He's a good shooter. He's a 3-and-D guard. He can, I think it's what they need. He's got some, size to him, kind of tall. So I'm looking forward to it. I like players. I like when we get players that I like. Like Jalen Tyson, like he did pretty well, but it's like, who is Jalen Tyson? So like Tyrese Proctor was like super exciting. Like, oh, I know this guy. I watch him every Saturday. So yeah, I'm excited for it.
What was your takeaway from this Cavaliers season? Obviously, they have one of the better regular seasons that we've seen in quite some time since Bron, and then to come out in the playoffs and pretty much have a repeat of the past 2-3 years. I mean, what's your overall takeaway? What do they need to do to get over that hump?
I mean, without weak the East is going to be, I don't think they really have to do anything. I mean, the Celtics are going to be terrible because of the injuries, and they had to trade a bunch of guys away to get under the apron. Pacers, it's kind of unfortunate that Halliburton got hurt because I think he's a good player. Like, you don't want to see stars get hurt ever, but I mean, it's like the Cavs, like the Pistons, and the Magic are like the top three, I would say, in the East. So it's like, I guess the Knicks too, but the Knicks never win anything. So I don't know. I don't think they got to do anything, but the season was definitely a letdown because I mean they destroyed the Heat, and I honestly think kind of hurt them because it just wasn't competitive at all. And then the Pacers come out and it should have been 1-1, but all of a sudden you're down 2-0, and they just couldn't come back from it. I mean,
there was some voodoo in the air.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously that was a Cleveland sports memory that you wish you could change, right? Especially the past, really since LeBron left, there was no Cavs team that you saw walk in the playoffs. You're like, okay, like we got a chance this year. For sure. But I'm curious, if you could change one moment in Cleveland sports history, what would it be? I have a funny feeling I'm going to know your answer, but I want to hear what you have to say.
I mean, I think everybody's answer should be 2016 World Series. Yeah. I mean, you're up 3-1. You kind of blow it. They almost had it in Game 5, and then Game 6 they get blown out, and then Game 7 come all the way back, the rain delay. I mean, that's just terrible. I feel like I'd be a much happier person if they won in 2016. Like, I was still pretty young then, but I feel like I just like have a more positive outlook on life than I already do. I don't know.
How old were you when that happened?
Jeez, I'm 21 now, so I mean, math
15?
was never my strong suit. So I was 13.
Oh my god,
that's crazy.
That is wild to think about because your memory of that is probably so much more different than a guy who was an adult at that stage in my life. Like, did I tell I told the story of that on air before, right? Of the whole outside watch party of that thing.
I don't know actually. Retell it if you didn't.
So were you at the watch party?
I was not. See, like I was just watching like friends at my house, family, whatever. I mean, I'm glad I wasn't. Like, especially if I was like me now, like at that.
I get where you're going, but when I say, I mean, the guard / Indians are probably the third on my list in terms of teams that I would be overly excited for. When I say it was the most electric thing I've ever felt in my life, there has been no. I was in the arena for the 2016 championship for that watch party. That was electric. When I was outside and there was right off that strip, there's a bar right on Prospect, a little hole in the wall. Their TV was delayed by like 20 seconds. So you could hear everything happening from the stadium before you actually saw it on the TV. Crowd goes up in a roar, base hit. Next thing you know, crowd gets louder by like 5 times. But then you hear fireworks fire right after it. You see hundreds of people flying from East 4th Street all the way over to Progressive. And I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Then you see the TV and Rajay Davis choked up on his bat and just drills a home run. And it's like, we heard it before we even saw it. It was the most electric thing I've ever had in my life.
What was the bar you were at?
I don't
Do you
even know
remember?
what the bar was. It literally was probably the size of our studio.
Wow.
How big the bar was.
Wow.
So we weren't even inside. We were walking to the car because we're like, it's over. And then we're like, well, they're up to bat. Let's just watch it. And then you heard it before the base hit even happened. So like now we gotta stay to see what all the noise was. And then that second one when the noise went even louder than the fireworks, and the people running, it was like something off a movie.
That's crazy. I'm curious, if you could change a Browns play, what would it be?
Ooh.
I know.
I
mean,
think I don't know.
I know.
I mean, it would have to be, the targeting incident
Yep.
in Kansas City. I mean, that was so bad. I mean, I go on for an hour about how it's ridiculous that the NFL and sports leagues in general just don't have everything reviewable. Like, it's not that hard. You got all these camera angles. It's like, didn't one year they made after like the Saints incident in the what was that, the NFC Championship, or to get to the NFC Championship, they made pass interference like you could challenge it only for like a year, and then they took it away. It's like, why? Like, why do that? Just every play you should be able to, if it's clear and obvious, just fix your mistake and go back. There's no reason not to. So
Fully agree.
I
that'd be the
agree.
one, because that sucked, and they still almost won. They still had a chance to win.
You know what sucks about that targeting call? When you look back at it, I get it. I'm with you guys. Like, it shouldn't have happened, but like, we were down double digits still at that point. Like, no matter if that targeting goes the other way, the game is, we're still in the balance. We're still down to Mahomes. You know what I mean? I think the other way I would go if it wasn't that one. How about the what was it? Defensive pass interference on the tight end from Houston before they went on to score the 14 points in the 2023, before everything crumbled. Ooh. There was a moment in that game where there was a penalty right before, I think it was halftime.
Okay.
And we would have got the ball back, and they end up scoring off of the penalty. And then obviously the demise happened right after that. But I would go back and probably change that, because when Flacco told us something great was going to happen, I wasn't expecting back-to-back pick sixes.
No, and he was right. Something crazy did happen. We're going to continue our interview with the Cleveland Menace up next on Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. Honor the Land is proudly sponsored by Infiniti. Safety never looked this good. Test drive the Infiniti QX80, the 2024 IIHS top safety pick. With a suite of standard intelligent safety features, the QX80 and IIHS top safety pick is as safe as it is luxurious. The all-new Infiniti QX80. You put your family first, and so do we. With a suite of standard safety features, the 2025 QX60 and IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus is as safe as it is luxurious, safe enough for your little ones. Meet your new security blanket, the 2025 QX60 and IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back into Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. I'm Max Loeb. He is Chef Say. We're here with the Cleveland Menace, continuing our Q&A segment. Obviously, we've talked about Cavs, Guards, and Browns. I'm curious, Menace, if you had to pick one team to say, that's my favorite team to cover, which would you pick and why?
Oof. I mean, it's always going to be a Browns town, but I feel like Guardians are probably my favorite to cover just because it's the most content. It's such a long season. It's like there's always something to talk about, I feel like. And I go to a lot of the games because there's so many games. So I'd say them, but it's always a Browns town. Like, even though they're terrible a lot of years, when the season rolls around, I feel like the hype and the interaction with that kind of content is always the best. So it's tough, but I'd have to go Guardians, honestly.
But not Cavs.
Not Cavs, no. I feel like the NBA is just kind of dying as a product. I mean, it's never going to die, obviously. I'm not, one of those people like, it's soft, the 90s are better, whatever. Like no. I think, honestly, what hurts the NBA the most is how good the guys are. Like, you go to games, and it's just like they make every single shot. It's just kind of like ridiculous, honestly. They're like, oh, nobody plays defense. Well, yeah, nobody plays defense because you got like 7'6" alien Wemby like pulling up on you and hitting threes. Like, what do you even do? So, I don't know. It's just like the regular season's just long and kind of boring, in my opinion. So
I agree. The NBA regular season is definitely elongated. It's longer than it needs to be, for sure.
Playoffs are long,
only,
too. I mean, it takes over 2 months.
I'm
crazy.
very anti-play-in. Very, very anti-play-in. I think they should get rid of that for sure.
Just put the best teams in. especially in the NBA. Like if there's 8 teams in the East that are the best team, then let it be that. Like because the guys aren't gonna win. I don't know, but then again, you got every once in a blue moon team like the Pacers who shocked the world, and I think they were like plus 12,500 before the season started to even make it to the championship.
Like they were what finished as the 4 seed. They're either 4
there
or
was the
5.
Heat. I mean, the Heat took down, what was it, the Bucks?
Yeah.
That was a 1-8.
Yep,
I mean, the
that
Bucks
was
were
one I
injured,
think of,
but
yeah.
I don't know if they played in or not, though. I don't know if they might have already been the 7 or the 8. If it was just...
I don't know.
My problem with the NBA and the Cavs and like it's never been the same without LeBron. I grew up with LeBron my entire life. So like my entire fandom from 2004 all the way up until now has always been LeBron, and I saw all the ups, all the downs. I damn near cried on the decision. Like basketball just don't hit the same without Bron for some reason for me. Maybe it's just because I watched him too much. I don't know.
I mean, that totally could be the case. Guess what, though? He might be back.
And I was thinking about it too. Like I might be locked in if Bron come back. Like I'm gonna have to.
I mean, why not? You know what? If it's a buyout, why not? Like anybody who's seriously gonna sit here and say let's not bring LeBron James back if it's a buyout on a team friendly deal, you don't want to bring him back if it's a buyout.
No, I do. I'm saying when you said anybody who says like it's ridiculous. Like what do you mean you don't want LeBron James? It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Here's what I'll say. I get it because they've built. Especially if you're Kobe Altman, the amount of crap that Kobe Altman has gotten over the years, and you think back to the Kyrie trade, that was probably where it really, really started for him. No one thought that he could get this team to where he got the team. And when you built a team and and the stigma that follows Cleveland, there's a lot of stigmas that follow Cleveland, and one of them is you can't win anything without LeBron. I think it's to that point now where it's like we want to just see if we can do it. And if LeBron does come back, you're pretty much you're not rebuilding what Kobe Altman has done, but you are putting that project on hold and basically starting a new project with LeBron for a year or however long he's here.
Let me ask you guys this. Would a championship next year, let's say the Cavs win the NBA Finals next year, would it mean more if it was with LeBron or without LeBron?
If LeBron retired next year, it would mean more.
Really?
He would have to retire.
Interesting.
I'd say so.
Yeah?
It's year 23 too, right?
That's
cool. Yeah, like
I
that'd be
know
pretty
that.
poetic, but I don't think it. I think they just like a championship's a championship. I would agree though. I think it'd be it would mean more with LeBron because it's LeBron.
Yeah. If he rode off into the sunset like that, I'm with you. I don't know if there would be a cooler NBA story, at least that I can think of off the top of my head, than I get, returning home twice. Like obviously you lose your sparkle when you do that, but like returning home to win a championship and riding off in the sunset for your home. I mean, it would be
electric.
Perfect. There's literally nothing, at least in the NBA world, that I can remember where I'm like, okay, this is poetic. This is almost like borderline scripted.
2016 was poetic. Hey, 2016 was so poetic because when you saw LeBron react to that Klay Thompson comment, you knew it was over. Like, I've never felt more confident in a statement than that one was like, what did Klay say? And you was like, okay. I don't think there's a moment. Is there a moment that you can think of in any sport that a statement hit harder where it's like, yeah, they're winning. There's no doubt, no history, no fluke, no Draymond Green, no nothing is going to stop that moment. I can't think of none.
The one that came to the top of my head immediately was the whole Max Kellerman Tom Brady thing when he went and ripped off 4 Super Bowls.
Okay, that's a good one.
But that wasn't Tom Brady acknowledging that and say, oh, what did Max Kellerman say? Oh, all right.
Right.
He did win. They did win that year, but that's the only one that I can think of. But regardless, LeBron James potentially coming back. Obviously, a lot of fond memories in Cleveland from him. But Menace, I want to ask you this too. As a Cleveland sports fan across all teams, what has been the most iconic memory that you've had outside of that 2016 championship?
I mean, last year was pretty awesome with the Guardians run. I feel like there's a lot of, like, iconic moments there. Honestly, kind of that whole season because, I mean, I don't think anybody expected them to do anything. 2023 was a down year. Then they get a new manager. So, yeah, I mean, I was at the game when Jean-Kenji Noel hit the home run. That's probably, I mean, it went right over my head. That's probably, like, the most iconic one I've seen. But there's a lot, man. I mean, Cleveland, for as much as they don't win, there's a lot of iconic moments. Yeah. I mean, the Snow Bowl game last year, that was pretty sweet. I mean, yeah, I don't know, though, but probably that game, I'd say 3 against the Yankees, probably the most iconic and memorable.
Do you think the Jean-Kenji Noel home run or the walk-off was more, I guess, memorable?
Noel, I mean, for sure, yeah, because that game was over. I mean, that game was so over. Lane Thomas does not get enough credit for for that at-bat he had because he was down 0-2 in the count, and then 1, 2, 3 straight balls, bangs one against the wall. I mean, he got him back in that. And then John Kenzie Noel, I mean,
Yeah.
that game was over. People left, which is crazy. But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that I was going to say the snowball, at least in recent memory that I could think of. I don't know about you.
That I was at personally or watched?
I'd say just in general, watched. Although, I think, honestly, in general, the clinching game against the Jets on Thursday night was pretty cool.
That one was pretty cool, too. I don't know. I think one of the craziest games, and I think I tie this into just the content creation aspect, that Baltimore Ravens game did
wild.
so much for not just the city, but for me in general, like how it propelled everything. But like you think about where the Browns were at for that Baltimore Ravens game, I will never forget that next day at 9:00 getting the notification of his shoulder being broken out for the season. Like that was just so Cleveland that
insane.
how can I not put that in my head? Dude, we got the $230 million guy. No, you don't. He's out for the rest of the year.
I swear to God, everybody remembers where they were for that moment. Like that as bad as it is, was a where were you moment when that happened.
So that's, I guess we'll get it on the back end. I got a good question for you on the next side.
Yeah, we'll move forward. We got some more Brown stuff coming up, more Q&A up next on Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. Welcome back into Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. I am Max Loeb. He is Chef Zay. We are here with the Cleveland Menace. We got a lot more Browns-specific questions to talk about. Obviously, the talk of the town, all of the news, is Quinshon Judkins, everything that is happening with him off of the field. A lot of questions are being raised, but the two most important ones, especially as we all sit here today, are what do we think of it? What are our general thoughts on the situation? And assuming he does get suspended, if he gets suspended, how many games do we think he's going to miss?
Are they it feels like we're in a time frame with the NFL and the league of making examples out of guys. Everybody that's coming up on certain type of things, just everyone's being made of an example right now. So I'm wondering if this is going to be one of those things, especially with just the history of the Browns and stuff. But Mike Hall, how many games did he get suspended?
I believe Mike Hall was 5.
5? So it's probably somewhere in that area if I had to guess.
Yeah.
I can't imagine if it's anything lower, especially, I mean, is there any indisputable evidence of the report?
Yeah, I mean, that is the question. I mean, I go back to the Kareem Hunt incident. Like that's what I think. And obviously when that happened, I don't know if people remember, like that all happened super quickly, and it was when he was on the Chiefs. He got placed on the exempt list almost right away, and then everything went through, and he got suspended for, I believe, the first 8 games of the next season. So 8-game suspension was really more than an 8-game suspension, but that's where my mind immediately goes. I mean, Menace, are you on the same page that you do think he does miss time?
I'd say yeah, for sure. I mean, the NFL just I've never really seen someone do something like that or supposedly do something like that and not get suspended. I feel like they just make an example of him. I mean, a lot of people are saying like, oh, well, maybe he didn't do it. Maybe it's a money grab, whatever. It doesn't matter, even if he didn't, the NFL doesn't really play. So, I mean, it's unfortunate. I think he definitely did something, which is not good. But, he hasn't even signed his rookie contract yet either, which is kind of I just wish the guys we drafted would make better decisions. But maybe we should, make better decisions drafting them.
Yeah. I mean, they're all valid questions like I talked about at the very beginning. You, me, whoever's watching this, we are all right to sit here and ask questions about the overall decisions made, not pointing fingers at specific people, not pointing fingers at specific departments or processes, but the decisions and the outcome of them. And we've talked a bunch about this potentially being a year where Andrew Berry's maybe on the hot seat, Kevin Stefanski's on the hot seat. Every little decision that's made, every little bit of fallout, especially with draft picks, with recent free agent signings, is being counted just a little bit more for them or against them. Everything is under an even tinier microscope this year, and this doesn't help. It doesn't help. And I know you drafted 2 running backs for a reason. You have Dylan Sampson. You restructured Jerome Ford's contract. But all offseason, what have we been talking about? We want to get back to running the ball. We want to pound the ball. We drafted 2 running backs for that reason. And now Quinshon Judkins is going to miss time. Who knows how much time? Probably going to miss time. I shouldn't guarantee it. But who knows how much time? And it feels like the Browns somehow, some way, took a step back with the pick.
Usually when it feels that way, when it feels like all doom and gloom in Cleveland, and we can like all sit here and kind of like sit around our campfire and agree, like, yeah, it's pretty bad in Cleveland. That's usually when like magic happens. I don't know if anyone else realizes that, but like,
I was thinking about that on my drive here. I was like, every single person's on the same page that the Browns are gonna suck this year.
yeah,
They're gonna finish around 500, right? Like,
it's inevitable. The one thing that is in the forefront of my forehead, and I got a big forehead, so it's there a lot, all right, is the Brook Park thing, man. My vision of how these next few seasons are really as much of a casino as it has ever been in my life. And what do I mean by that? Well, this year, maybe we're playing blackjack. Maybe we're trying to 50-50 it. Are we going to be good or are we going to not? Next year, maybe we're playing craps. You got a little bit less odds or a little bit better odds if you drop the coin. The year after that, it's like, I don't know what to expect or what we're going to get from this team because I'm in the camp where I truly believe where they are just trying to hover. They're like that. They're the boat on the water where that 20-footer that was creeping out on Jaws is just waiting to get them at the right point. I just think it's like, okay, when are we going to get out of Lake Erie water and go to Brook Park? And I think every decision that is being made, which is why I think about this the hot seat situation that you bring up, as much as I think they should be on the hot seat, I don't think there's a real hot seat until 2028.
I agree. I don't think there's a hot seat. I don't think that Andrew Barry. Well, I shouldn't say. I think Andrew Barry and Kevin Stefanski have been given a little bit more leeway after this year's draft. Because if you're sitting here, you're Andrew Barry and you're Kevin Stefanski, you're like, I need to win right now for my job. There's no way. There's not a shot you trade away the number 2 overall pick. If you're trying to win this year, as great as the haul is next year, unless it was a Jimmy Haslam call, there's no way you trade away the number 2 overall pick. If you're like, this is my last year, I got to win. There's no shot they do that. That is a future-building move, and Andrew Barry was the one who made the move. Now, is Andrew Barry's seat a little bit safer than Kevin Stefanski's? Maybe, who knows, but I'm with you. I don't know if that hot seat exists.
We kind of talk about it in the behind-the-scenes stuff. What would it take for Stefanski to get on that? Because I'm kind of with you on that. I think the leash and the seats are different. I don't think Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Barry are a package deal, especially when you know how Jimmy Haslam likes to run his business, and he does run it like a business. I think he runs it as a business first, football team second. There's no better guy. Like, you can hate Andrew Barry's drafting all you want. You can hate the moves that he makes. In terms of maneuvering money, making things work, the analytical sides of the business aspect, you're probably not going to find a better guy than Andrew Barry. And I think that goes for the next 4 years way easier than a coach who continuously goes 3-14 or 4-13 or something like that. So what record would you look at and be like, you know what, Kevin, you got to go, buddy?
It depends when and where. I don't know, Menace, what do you think?
I don't think he's gone this year. I just don't see it. I mean, they held on to Hugh Jackson, forever. Like,
Facts.
I mean, the dude went 0-16 and 1-15 too, right? And then they got rid of him when they finally started doing okay. So I feel like, this year they're, like you said, 50-50, playing some blackjack. So if they're good, great. If they're not, whatever. So I don't see them getting rid of anybody. As soon as we kind of have that potential, like with the haul next year and we bring in more players, next season, if, I think their goal next year will be, to definitely compete. This year, it's like, if we can compete, great. If not, whatever. Next year, if they don't compete, then I think they'll can them pretty quick. But this year, I don't see it. I just don't see it.
You know what would make them immediately more competitive, though? If they traded for Terry McLaurin. And I do think that is a real thing. And I think it's more real on Washington's end than it is on Cleveland's end.
For sure, yeah.
Like, I think you look at Terry McLaurin, you watch what he says in the media, a lot of past tense verbs, and you don't want to read too much into that, but saying, I wanted to build my career here. I have built my life here. Like, if he doesn't get paid, he's going to request a trade. That's the reality of it. And he has gone up through 3 different names, multiple coaches, owners, quarterbacks. Like, it's a business, but you almost owe it to that guy. So I want to ask you guys.
That's the thing.
Is it realistic? Is Terry McLaurin to the Browns realistic? Or is Terry McLaurin, I'll ask, trade realistic? And then if it is realistic, how realistic are the Browns?
I think the trade is realistic. I just don't think, you mentioned, he wants to get paid. I don't know if he really fits what the Browns are trying to do. I think the Browns are trying to bring in, they have Jerry Jeudy, who I feel like is going to kind of be their guy. And they're trying to bring in, some younger players and stuff. I mean, Terry's going to be, 30? Yep. He's probably going to get 30 a year or whatever, $30 million contract, whatever the heck he wants. I just don't see it. I just don't think it fits what the Browns are doing. would I be against it? Probably not. People are like, oh, you spend too much money, whatever. It's like, I mean, we paid Deshaun Watson $230 million, you know, at least $5 million of completion probably. So it's like money. I don't really care about the money. I care more about, like, will he fit? And I don't think he would really fit into the future of the team.
Interesting.
Is there a world where the contract situation, because how many years does he have left on his contract? Just this year?
Yep.
Oh, so he's not playing without a new deal.
No shot.
Exactly.
I was gonna say, is there a world where he goes into the season, plays, and let's just say, because I'm trying to do the two-parter here. How realistic is it for the Browns? Let's just say realistically we start out the season 4-2, and McLaurin still doesn't have a contract done. It would make more sense then to go out and get a difference maker at the receiver position to bring him in now. But like you said,
he's not playing without a new contract.
you're not playing without a new contract, and does it fit what the Browns like? I think there's a very specific plan in place, and I think if they have to try to maneuver and to make room to adjust the plan, they're not going to do it. But if it just falls into place of the plan, I think that's what would make that they would make that move. But I don't think it fits. It doesn't fit, especially when in 4 years you could be potentially talking about rebuilding an entire new team.
Yeah.
I mean, in 4 years, who is still on this team when we go to Brook Park?
Good question. Yeah,
That's exactly it.
It's all the
like,
guys who are going to get extended. Yeah.
If you bring him in the offseason, I feel like it wouldn't make much sense because then the fans are going to be like, oh, we're making a push for it. You know, we're going to have Flacco, maybe Shador plays. They're going to make the playoffs this year. They got Scary Terry. Hey, we're going to make the playoffs. No, I don't think. I think they realize maybe by some miracle we do have some good players. So if it kind of comes together, we win some games in that kind of, schedule of doom. The first 6 weeks are really tough. And maybe we somehow make the playoffs. But if you bring in Scary Terry, I think it's telling the fans, like, we're going to be good this season. Look at this guy we brought in. And then when you're not good, I think people are going to get really pissed off. So I just don't see it. It just does not make much sense to me.
Yeah, and all the moves they've really made up until this point, especially in the draft, have kind of signaled not that they're throwing in the towel for the year, but that they're building for the future, and that's the reality of it. I think we're all on the same page here. It would be cool. It would be fun. Is it realistic? Probably not. We got a couple more Browns questions to talk up next on Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. Welcome back into Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network. I am Max Loeb. He is Chef Zay. We are here with the Cleveland Menace. We're going to finish up our question and answer segment here with a little more Quinshon Judkins talk, but really where the Browns are going to pivot if/when Judkins gets suspended. I think a lot of this depends on how many games he gets suspended for, but if the Browns did have to pivot in a different if the Browns had to pivot in a different direction with Quinshon Judkins, what do you think they do? Do they bring somebody in? Do they potentially trade for somebody, which seems unlikely? Do they just rock with the guys that they have? What do you guys think they do?
I'm calling up Houston. Hey, I got a 7th rounder for Nick Chubb right out the gate. No play. Bring him back. No, I think I don't think they'll do anything. As crazy as that sounds, and I know they kind of like to do stuff, I think if they do, it's going to be a guy who's probably familiar with the offense, probably somebody who's already been here. We talked about Dearness Johnson a little bit. John Kelly's always a guy in the preseason that you talked about a little bit, but I think we still forget Pierre Strong's on the roster. I think people, I don't know why there's just this gloomy hate over Jerome Ford. I still won't get it, but Jerome Ford's still on this team. And by the way, he took less money, so he's coming out with a vengeance to prove that he's worth. And you still got Sampson, so you still have 3 running backs that are on this roster. It's not like you're 2 of them and it's like, hey, yeah, we got Foreman and we got X. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know. I don't think they'll do anything big, but my first call is Texans.
I mean, they got 3 running backs if Judkins gets suspended.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's coming back. It's not like he's just gone. So you would have 5 if you bring, somebody else in. I don't see him doing anything. I agree. Like, Jerome Ford gets a lot of hate. It's like, he's Jerome Ford. Like, what do you want him to do? Like, and he has some cool plays sometimes or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, they'll just roll with the guys. I think they'll just have Flacco just throw like 50 times a game and just see where it goes. And if it works, it works. Like, they're not going to go get a running back. It wouldn't make much sense to me at all.
The only thing I worry about with the room now, especially if Judkins starts to push that 8-game suspension number, is the ability to get the hard yards. They don't have a guy like that. They don't. I love Jerome Ford. He's an explosive guy. He's not a tough yards guy. Dylan Sampson, very clearly explosive guy, not a tough yard guy. Pierre Strong, very similar to Dylan Sampson, at least in my mind. It's hard to believe that the Browns have real confidence in a bell cow. Kevin Stefanski's never had that type of offense, but in the short yardage situations, who are you going to lean on? That's my thing. And there are guys out there that would come in and provide depth. A guy like Jamal Williams, to me, is a big one. Awesome locker room guy. People love him and is notorious for the goal line work, for stealing touchdowns from quicker, more explosive guys in those short yard situations. I think that could be very cool. I think it makes a lot of sense, and financially, it is not going to be an issue for the Cleveland Browns. And the reality with the special teams world now is you have to prioritize the returner position. It is not a crazy thing to keep 4 running backs on your roster anymore. That's how it goes sometimes. I mean, Pierre Strong is going to be a pretty consistent part of the special teams game plan, and if they really want to go that route of running the ball down opponents' throats nonstop, that's what they want to do. They want to take care of the football, hold the football, keep the defense's legs fresh. They're probably only going to wind up taking 6 wideouts anyways. So I don't think it's a crazy thing to think that they could take 4 running backs into the season with them. Where that 4th running back comes from is the real question. I don't think they're going to trade for anybody. That would make no sense. And like you said, Judkins is coming back. Like, it's not like Quinshon Judkins just got cut. Like, he's probably, at least as we know, coming back. I don't think it's crazy to think there's a 4th running back in the equation.
The running back is under center. I mean, 4th and inches, 4th and 1. They were against the tush push. They're going to be doing it this year. But we're forgetting. You know what else we're forgetting too? We're forgetting that we're going back to Kevin Stefanski's offense. What does that mean? You're going to get to see David Njoku and Harold Fenton Jr. catch tight end screens again. What are we talking about?
I don't know. I can't.
I forgot about that.
Jet sweeps with tight ends. Like, get ready.
It's all offseason long we've been talking about Judkins being the bell cow and Jerome Ford, but really Dylan Sampson being the change of pace guys. And, like, there's no bell cow anymore. That's the hard reality. Like,
that's a good point.
What if Sampson just turns into it?
But like physically, he's not built for that.
Physically, he's not.
It's clear to see that.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we like to. It sounds good now because we're talking about it and we ain't seen football in a while. But like, we got to remember these offenses with Kevin Stefanski. Even when we had a bell cow back, he was only getting it 17 times a game, 16 times a game. So like.
Yeah.
So you're not getting it with Q. Okay, well, now Dylan gets 13 touches, Jerome gets 9, and you're right back. I mean, it's like, do I get where you're coming from? Yes. You want to have a guy who you can lean on and be like, you know what? For these first 3 downs, just go run the damn ball. But unfortunately, with this offense, that's not something that they want to do anyway.
Ooh, I don't know.
I mean, they want to run the ball, but like, if you're talking about running that outside zone, you think Sampson's not going to be able to hit the outside and just go?
I'm not worried about the volume of touches because we've said it since April. Like, it doesn't even matter who the starter is. Nobody's going to touch 18 plus, 19 plus carries in that backfield. I'm more worried about the 3rd and 1s. Got to have it. You're going to meet a linebacker in the hole. You need your running back to make contact and finish a yard down the field. I don't know if they have a guy on the roster right now who I feel really confident in to do that consistently without Quinshon Judkins.
That's fair. I won't argue that.
I think a 4th short yardage guy will come in. And again, if Judkins is out like 6 to 8 games, I don't think it's that wild that they bring a 4th guy in with the landscape of special teams, with what Pierre Strong does. And you still need depth. That's the reality, too. Like, injuries happen.
Would Dearness Johnson do it for you?
No, he's also like super similar to those guys. Like Jamal Williams and Gus Edwards was another one I saw.
Yeah.
But like, guys like that, bigger, stronger backs who literally will just come in and get you the hard yards.
I think Gus Edwards would be perfect for what you're talking. And not only that, you're also going to get insight and information because he played in the division rival opponent with the Ravens. So you could be getting a double-edged sword there. So I'm bringing Gus. I'd like Gus.
I think Gus Edwards, Jamal Williams. I think there's some other guys. I mean, Deontay Foreman was here last year, and he tried to serve that purpose. I don't know how well he served it, but he was a Stefanski guy. We're going to finish with one more question. I don't think there's a better person to have here than the Cleveland Menace to ask this. Why is our media our own worst enemy? They love negativity. I'm going to leave this to you guys. I'll chime in, give my 2 cents, but the Cleveland media loves negativity. As an outsider, somebody who did not fully grow up here, I see it pretty clearly. But I think you guys who have grown up here have kind of just lived in it. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts.
Well, I'll let the youth go first.
I don't know, man. I don't get it at all. It's just like, I feel like media in general talks a lot more about, negative events. Like, you turn on the news, there's a shooting, car accident, whatever. And I feel like Cleveland sports, media, because they fail so much, because the teams are so bad so much, they just kind of like embrace that and constantly hate. But it's like, you got to be positive at some point, especially when positive things are going on. What really drives me nuts is when there's positive things going on and they spin it in a negative way. Like the Browns season last year was terrible. Cool, be negative about it. That's fine. But you got, a lot of young players on, the Browns, Shedeur Sanders, exciting, I feel like he brings a lot of cool things to the city, and most of the stuff I see about him is negative. It's like, why? Like, I just don't get it. It drives me insane. And I'm negative a lot, but I feel like I'm only negative when negative things are happening. Like if something positive happens, like I'm so delusional, like I'll lose my mind. Like we the Browns win one game, they beat the Jaguars. I'm like, oh, Deshaun Watson's gonna win MVP. We're going 11-5 or 11-6. Like, I mean, if negative things happen, cool, be negative. But if there's even an ounce of positivity, you got to run with that and be positive. And the Cleveland media just never does.
It's just, the one thing I say is we're just low-hanging fruit. It's the easy thing to talk about. It's easy to be like, oh, the Browns are the clowns. The Browns is the Browns. It's the easy thing to ignore that the Dolphins haven't won in 50-plus years. It's the easy thing to ignore that the Cubs were on a 100-year drought before they won against us. It's the easy thing to ignore all of these other things because they may have had a little bit of success. The Steelers haven't won a playoff game more recently than we have. It's easy to talk about a team who's been down in the dumps for so long, but that's what's going to make it so much more sweeter when we finally do break through, because the real ones that have been here, that have had to go through all of the 0-15 and 1-15 jokes and all of the heartbreak in 2016 and 2023 and all of these things, like it's all going to be that much sweeter. So the media, it's one of those things where he mentioned it right off the gate. Clicks, no matter if it's good or bad, the negative stuff is going to be forefront, top of the hour. Car crash happened and this guy stole from the bank. It's like, okay, what about Shedeur Sanders passing out 250 famous bowls in Macedonia? Or what about him going to the inner city in the projects and having a thing after a fire? Like, that's not going to make the headline of the news. So I just think Cleveland is that good old low-hanging fruit that everybody's walking by can just grab some and make their day. I hope you got worms in it, by the way.
Yeah, I like that. That is a great way to put it. And again, I don't think there could be two better people to talk about that, especially now all of us in the media are self-aware of that, and I think there's some other really good media members out there that are also self-aware of that, where, yeah, if it's negative, talk about the negativity. That's how it goes. But if it's positive, eventually you got to uplift, right? And, as an outsider, somebody who grew up in a completely different state looking at this, you're right, it was low-hanging fruit, and I didn't know any better. Coming here, I kind of see it now. It's like, okay, sure, there's things that in the past that have happened that make you say, yeah, I mean, it makes sense that it's low-hanging fruit. But now, when the positive things happen and it's met with negativity, I think the exact same. Well, Cleveland Menace, we appreciate you hopping on the show. Feel free to plug your socials. Where can they follow you? Any platforms they can follow you on?
Cleveland Menace everywhere, man. Instagram, TikTok. I don't really use Twitter, but I think it's like, just look up the Cleveland Menace, you'll find it. So, yeah, I appreciate you guys having me on. And this is dope, man. The studio's dope. You guys are dope. Whoever these guys are running it are dope. Yeah, I appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate you coming on. We're going to finish up here on Honored Land on Big Play Sports Network. Welcome back into Honored Land on Big Play Sports Network. I am Max Loeb. He is Chevze. We are going to finish up here with our prediction for the first team offense that is going to take the first rep of Cleveland Browns training camp. Zay, I'm going to kick it over to you. You want to start with quarterback? You want to end with quarterback? I feel like that's what everybody wants to hear, but should we make them wait? Let's make them wait.
Yeah, let's make them wait.
Let's make them wait. All right. I'll ask you this. Pass catchers, you go 3 wide receivers or a tight end, or do you think it's 2 tight ends, 2 receivers? I think it's 2 tight ends, 2 receivers.
First we're
play.
Talking about training camp?
Training camp, base D&D, first play.
Yeah, as much as I'm going to go the other way, though. I do think I'll lean with you. I kind of agree. But I think you're going to see maybe Fannin out as a receiver and the tight end.
Oh, I see what you mean. So, but 2 tight ends on the field then, if it's Harold Fannin.
Yeah. Who's our third receiver? No, there'll be 3 out there. Okay. Because I think Cedric Tillman and I think Deontay Johnson will be out there.
Ooh, not Jamari Thrash.
I think Thrash will be the guy that will make the noise after the first day. Like, he'll be that he may be our Austin Watkins this year.
Okay. Ooh, interesting. I hope he's better than Austin Watkins because...
Well, I'm talking about Austin Watkins was good in preseason and training camp. He was really good.
Yes. I'm with you. I hope Thrash takes another leap. But I think I'm going to go 2 tight ends, 2 receivers. Obviously, David Njoku, Harold Fannin. I'll go Judy Tillman, running back.
Well, Judd's probably out.
Yeah, assuming he is not.
I'm gonna go for it.
I think it's Dylan Sampson.
I see it, but I think, sometimes, man, is seniority still a thing? Like,
Yes,
I feel like
or
seniority,
reliable, and I
you know
think
what I mean?
quarterback seniority might be a thing too. Who do you have?
Like, you say who?
Quarterback.
Oh man, my gut and my homerism tells me Joe Flacco,
Okay.
but there's something tugging me to say Kenny Pickett. I don't know why, but we're gonna see Kenny Pickett out there with the first team reps, and I almost can guarantee it.
I think it's all a smokescreen. I think it's Flacco, but I do understand where it's coming from. But those are our first team offense predictions, at least. So much is going to change throughout training camp. We appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you listening. We will see you next time on Honor the Land on Big Play Sports Network.